Hey, everybody, welcome to What the Flick, Scream, Season 2, Episode 2, Psycho. Bibbs is back.
Hi!
And, of course, now Francis isn't here, but at some point, all three of us will be sitting here.
Well,
and
it's like the
it'll be
original
a delight.
Scream. You got to keep track of who's not in the scene at any given moment.
Yes.
And that's how the original Scream got us, is because we were only looking for one person who wasn't in every scene.
Maybe Francis is in the garage right now with
Francis
Rose
and
McGowan.
Kim are actually out killing everybody. It's real fun.
Episode 2, in which we learned that everybody's got that damn voice filter app.
Yeah, that's something they took from, I think, Scream 4, where it just got real popular. Like, it was just a thing.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot
and
about
you can get voice modulating apps like pretty easy.
Oh, yeah,
so,
I looked it up. I put like Scream voice app and 5 things came up in the
Yeah,
store.
so that's a thing, and I'm sure that'll be fun to play with over time. The thing, and I wasn't here last week to talk about this, but the things that we're really talking about the most right now in terms of how meta the show is getting are dreams and hallucinations and their use in a narrative structure. And what I think is kind of interesting is that everyone is telling our heroine, oh, you're probably just imagining a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, there was a murderer. There was a horrifying thing. Like, you're really going to take it for granted that there isn't right now? Like, wouldn't you? I would give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But what would be kind of cool is if sometimes her hallucinations were hallucinations. That would be interesting.
Well, and granted, we do get a false alarm in the first episode of the season. So, there might be a thing of maybe other people have been, fake 911 calls, whatever, like freaking out about stuff that wasn't there, and so now to this point, everyone's sort of like, oh yeah, whatever.
That's true. The boy who cried wolf syndrome.
Exactly.
So I wasn't here for the conversation last week.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I do think is really, really cool, and I think that the Scream second season is doing that other shows haven't, is it's following the killer now, or at least one of them. But the question I have is, Audrey, is she really a killer? I mean, she killed Piper. How involved was she in everything?
She was the accomplice. I mean, whether or not she has physical blood in her hands, I don't know.
That's my question: is the show gonna try to make us sympathetic for her as she's trying to cover her tracks? Are we supposed to feel bad for her because she's stuck in this situation, or is it supposed to be the thing where we want her to get caught? What do you think? Like, what's your reaction to these plot lines? Are you thinking to yourself, "Oh, poor Audrey," or are you thinking to yourself, "Oh, that bitch"? Like, what do you?
I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, I think I'm more just sort of thinking, well, this is interesting.
Okay.
And if she gets away with it, that's one thing, and then if she doesn't, that's another thing. But I'm not. It's weird because there's something about the Scream movies and now the show where, because it operates at such a meta level, I don't know that I engage with the characters as directly as I might otherwise, and so it's more about watching them as characters and how they interact and how they're treated and what's going to happen to them.
So you're looking at the pieces around the chessboard. You're not necessarily getting engaged and going, "Come on, kiss him."
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
even though that's exactly what the Scream TV series told you not to do.
Right.
At the beginning, it said you need to care about, will they win the big game? Otherwise, the show won't work.
Yeah, well,
they gave you the instruction manual.
The show works for me, but at the same time, I think that's the level on which I engage with it.
All right.
And so, I'm fascinated by the notion of have this sort of the spy in the house basically, where it's been made clear that this person was an accomplice in the season 1 killings, is now trying not to get caught for same. And so, it could be, I think it'd be, I'm fascinated to see how it comes out either way.
Yeah. And I like that they're trying to adapt now surreptitiously, even with the title of last episode. I Know What You Did Last Summer, more than Scream, which I'm pretty sure the events of the last season didn't happen during the summer.
Well, it was
They're all
during
in school.
the school year.
Yeah, I don't think it was that summery.
Well, I know what you did last second semester didn't really have the same ring
yeah,
to
but
it.
knowing how the sequel titles of that franchise worked, it would have still... I'll always know what you did last summer is one of the titles of those movies. I don't think they cared too badly.
Oh, man.
But here's the thing, though. I like that premise, the idea of someone being taken to task, someone being held accountable, someone being exploited, someone being blackmailed for something terrible they did. And they genuinely did something terrible. This isn't the kind of thing where it's like, I can tell people the truth and it'll be bad, but maybe I can get off on probation if I strike a plea bargain. Like, no, she's screwed.
Yeah. And it's funny because you never see a sequel to slasher movies where the killer goes on trial.
Now that sounds like
you?
a challenge. I'm trying to remember. I've seen ones where they ended up in like an insane asylum, but on trial, no, not really.
Yeah,
That's pretty rare.
So
yeah.
no one really has. It'll be interesting to see the notion of a character having to face the music for previous actions.
What I have seen are characters, the surviving characters, now being taken to court for all the murders because no one believes that an actual waxwork museum came to life and killed everybody. So now they're on the hook because they can't prove magic is real.
Yes, well.
Different premise, but still.
A little bit.
But my point is that we're doing something actually kind of daring here. Meanwhile, we're doing a very conventional sort of teen soap opera thing for a lot of this. Will my boyfriend have to move?
Yes.
Will his aunt move in with him and now it'll be awkward and we can't have sex as easily? These are I guess.
Is my English teacher recording my conversation to sell to the tabloids?
Right. She is really engaged, that teacher.
Or
and
psychology teacher, whatever it is she is.
And I don't know if I'm just sort of programmed to think about teachers and sex from last season because there was a whole subplot.
Right.
But like I think it was in the first episode, but she was just like, you know what turns me on? Science. And I'm just like, they cast a very conventionally attractive actress for this role. I'm supposed to be thinking about sex right now, aren't I? Maybe this is a red herring. I don't know. But that's always the thing, though. Like,
I will say this, speaking of sex, that when Emma and brooding guy finally get it on in the truck or whatever, I always admire movies and TV shows where even if we don't see anything, the actress removes her bra. Because granted, I don't have sex with women, but it strikes me that they don't leave it on.
Not often.
And that always takes me out of the moment. I'm like, I believe that you signed a contract saying you weren't going to show your breast in this, but I don't believe that this woman that you're playing would keep the bra on during sex.
There's also, I mean, in the younger storylines, there's a lot more insecurity for people who aren't sexually experienced, but they've already had sex before, so it'd be weird if they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, a minor throwaway thing, but a detail I appreciate.
A detail I didn't appreciate because it struck me as weird when Noah is at the motel.
Yeah.
Questioning the guy.
Right.
And the guy says, yes, I saw Piper talking with another girl. And Noah's like, a girl? The plot thickens. And I'm like, the killer was already female. We've already broken through that glass ceiling. I don't know why this is blowing your mind.
Well, was it that there was a girl or was it there was in fact an accomplice?
No, he suspected there was an accomplice.
Okay.
It seemed like he was surprised that it was a
girl.
Female.
Yeah,
okay, and I'm like, come on, it's the 21st century. Women can be murderers. Why not? There also was this whole plot point about how the hotel or motel has a storage locker for all the stuff that gets left behind.
Right.
I'm willing to accept that. For all I know, that's 100% true. It's interesting to me that the killer cleaned out the storage locker, put a body in there with a whole bunch of air fresheners, and assumed that no one would leave anything in the motel until Audrey found the body.
Well, and also, as Audrey points out, the cops did not completely sweep clean the room of the killer.
Yeah, you'd think that would be. I guess it's kind of a done deal. Well, we know who it was. We can kind of just let some of the follow-up work. Yeah, right. I like the sheriff. The new sheriff they have in town. He's an interesting character. He's oftentimes you get this sort of take no crap sheriff.
Yeah.
But he's a ball buster or something, or he's out for his career. This guy just seems suspiciously cool. Like he does his job, but it was just like, you don't want to file a report, do you? I don't want you to file a report. It's fine. It reminds me of the sheriff in Bates Motel, who has an odd way of handling things, and it sort of makes him a very compelling presence because he's in a position of authority, but what's he going to do with it? He's going to fill a very traditional role, or is he going to be an X Factor? And it looks like we're doing X Factor.
Well, and also I think this is the kind of show where it's a small town, so all the new people, or at least all the people we didn't meet last season, are the parade of suspects.
Yes.
Basically. The smart black girl and inappropriate teacher and brooding new sheriff's son and quizzical new sheriff and,
my first thought was, it can't be the aunt and the cousin.
Oh, and
because they just moved to town. On the other hand, what a twist.
Yeah. Or did they?
Right?
Right, yeah.
Well, obviously, we don't have nearly enough to go on. In fact, I'm trying to remember if Piper, who ended up being the main killer in season 1, was even introduced by episode 2. It was 2 or 3.
She's in the pilot.
Was she in the pilot?
Oh, yeah.
I thought she didn't really get introduced till like the second.
I seem to recall her. I thought she was there right from the beginning. I'm trying to remember what.
I guess here's my point: is they're under no obligation to introduce the killer as a supporting character right away.
Because she was doing the that not serial podcast of hers about the other guy. I was saying Raymond James. So they always advertise on NPR. It's the old killer on this show.
My memory is a bit hazy. I didn't rewatch the entire first season before we did this. But my point is that I've seen TV shows which were whodunits in which the person who ended up doing it, gets introduced by episode 6 or something, so that it's not. So it's more of a surprise, and the people you have an emotional connection to at the beginning can actually play out and not betray you. But let's assume one of the people we've seen so far is the killer. Based on what you know now, this can change every episode we do this.
I'm not answering this.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, all right. Who do I think is?
If you had to guess based on this episode, who would you think did it? And I want to track this over the season. I think it's fun.
All right, fine. I'm gonna say. I'll go with Sheriff's son, since first Sheriff's son wound up being a red herring.
All right, that works. Oh, that works. I forgot.
For no better reason than that.
Does that make sense?
What do you got?
I'm going to go with new teacher.
Okay.
She's a little too helpful, but she's also a little too suspicious too early. So I think they're going to probably make her less suspicious later on, or reveal her secret early. So then we think it's okay, but then actually she's going to be killing him.
So she's got a secret B. Okay, well that's a possibility.
Yeah, good times. Who do you think did it? Tell us in the comments and stuff, and we'll be back next week.
The Thursday.
This week. That's right, because
we're catching up now.
That's right. So keep screaming and neat.